Conservative radio host Bryan Fischer wants to lay out for us the biggest threat to liberty in America. Let's watch.
One of the things that we monitor here on Focal Point is the homosexual agenda. And the reason this is important to us is I firmly believe that the homosexual agenda represents the greatest single threat to religious liberty we have ever seen in the history of our existence as a nation. We've been in existence since 1776 as a nation. This is the single greatest threat to religious liberty. In fact, it's the greatest threat to liberty of all kinds, whether it's freedom of religion, whether it is freedom of speech, whether it is freedom of the press, whether it is freedom of association. All of the rights that are enshrined in the First Amendment are threatened by the active, aggressive homosexual lobby and the homosexual agenda.
At the beginning, he said, you know, here at our radio show, we monitor the homosexual agenda. I bet you do, Bryan. I bet you do. Could you imagine what's in his search history on Google? Oh, I bet it's some stuff that I would want to wash out of my brain if I learned about it. But look at what he's saying, man. In all seriousness, all joking aside, I mean, this guy represents a strain of thought that there are some people in America who still cling on to. And it's sad, and it's pathetic, and it's bigotry, and it's intolerance. And he tries to twist everything to mean its opposite. He's Orwell's wet dream. I mean, he said, it's the biggest threat to liberty of all kinds. Gay people. Gay rights is the biggest threat to liberty of all kinds. I don't even know. How could you possibly come to that conclusion? In fact, I'm the dork who goes the extra mile and actually looks up the definition of basic words to throw this back in their faces. The definition of liberty is, quote, the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. In other words, Bryan Fischer is 100% incorrect. You're the person that's restricting liberty. You're the person that says, I don't want you to have equal rights as straight people. I don't want you to be able to get married in all the states. I want a business owner to kick you out if they don't want you in their store. I want them to have the right to do that. I want you to get fired because you're gay. I want the boss to have the right to do that. Now, just separate gay for any other group in there, and you'll see how outrageous it is and how unjustified it is. If he was out there arguing in 2014 that any business owner should be allowed to kick somebody out because they're black, any business owner should be allowed to kick somebody out because they're a woman, or even go further with it, any business owner should be allowed to kick somebody out because they have blonde hair, or because they have brunette hair, because they have blue eyes. I don't like people with blue eyes. Get out. No, you should not be able to arbitrarily discriminate against somebody when it comes to these issues. It's a totally different conversation if you want to say, well, look, they're knocking over shelves and they're acting crazy and their actions are fucked up. Well, then sure, it's not discrimination to say, stop fucking up my shit, get out of my store. But if you say, based on something the person can't change about themselves, hey, I want you out of here because I just don't like who you are inherently, well, then that's fucked up and that's not right and that should be illegal. And look, all the arguments that he's using against gay people are the exact same arguments that were used against interracial marriage not that long ago. People used to say, it ain't me saying it, it's God saying it, it's in the Bible. It's true, it is in the Bible. They say you should not marry between tribes, as they call it. It means you should not marry between races. So that was in the Bible, and people argued in the South back in the 1960s, no, what do you mean? We're against interracial marriage. We're not going to allow it. It's going to be illegal because it's our beliefs in the Bible. If you disagree with us, then you're infringing upon my religious liberty. It's obviously a ridiculous argument because whose liberty is really being infringed upon? And this is what the Supreme Court found. This is what the United States now has under law. The real restriction of liberty was when you told two consenting adults who wanted to get married to each other, you can't get married because my opinion disagrees with it. Well, you're not involved in this situation. This is a contract between two consenting adults, got nothing to do with you. You're a third party. Piss off. So, I mean, it's so obvious, it's so in our face that sometimes we miss it because it's so clear that the real restriction of liberty is coming from the fundamentalist religious groups, is coming from the right-wingers. These are the people who totally misinterpret and misrepresent the idea of freedom of religion. Yes, you have freedom of religion, but you don't have the freedom of religion to stop other people from interracially marrying. And you don't have the freedom of religion to stop gay people from marrying, because then it's not about your rights. It's about you infringing on their rights.